Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat, and I'm here today to work on the cover of my altered scrapbook. I was going to say sketchbook, but it's not a sketchbook. So yeah, so this might take a couple times, you know, a couple videos, I don't know. But anyway, I have some things ready, so I kind of know what I want to do, but no promises on all the decisions. So I have some Tim Holtz paper that's torn that I think I'm gonna put there. So I hope you're all having an awesome day. We're having a pretty good one. I may not be around for a video tomorrow. I have to take my son to the DMV to try to get his driver's license, so wish him luck. But yeah, that, you know, as we all know, can be an all-day experience. So they have like contractors, private contractors that you have to call first to make an appointment, and you drive with them off-site, you know, of the DMV, and then you have to go to the DMV to do the written test part. And yeah, it's like a whole drawn-out process. It's so ridiculous. So anywho, that will be my day tomorrow. I mean, hopefully we can get it done and, you know, be done. But yeah, we'll see. So I hope all is well with all of you. I'm sorry, I'm looking for, what did I do with, I had some other pieces. I thought I might put this piece here because it's just going to kind of be a collage, basically, is what I am doing on the cover here. Yeah, so I think I'll start with that, and I'm not worried that this is flat right here because it's going to be covered and you won't even see that part, but we'll see the rest. And I'm going to attach everything with tacky glue, just because I want to make sure that it stays where I want it, and I have very good luck with tacky glue, so I prefer it over most anything really. But, you know, use what you like, because we all have our glue favorites. Don't want all the schmutzes. So yeah, we're having some pretty nice weather. It's supposed to get really hot this weekend and then cool off again. So it's like it can't make up its mind. It's just been a crazy, crazy weather summer. I mean, I'm not complaining because I really like not having that hot, hot heat that we usually get. We're usually in the hundreds, you know, at this time, which this weekend we could reach that, but then it's supposed to cool off again. So it kind of felt like fall out there this morning. It's just weird, really weird weather. So I'm going to grab a dry wipe so that I can wipe spots off where the glue gets. This one here. And I know I'm going to end up covering that. I like the way that tore at the bottom, but I don't want as much of the craft book showing. And I'll probably do a little bit of inking to it once I get everything on here the way I want it. So my kids wash their cars. My daughter's still working on hers because she hasn't cleaned it in or out for quite some time. It needed it. We have a old Volkswagen Bug that we bought new years ago, and so that's what she drives. My son drives a Explorer. Just want to make sure, hopefully not to get bubbles if we can help it. and get it all attached down. It's my son's computer, something's not going right. You can hear him sighing. That's going to get covered, so I'm not worried about that. Okay. Looks pretty good. Okay. So I also have one of these that is from my cabinet cards digi, and I'll show you how I cut the little windows out. This is all Tim Holtz paper. I mean, I figured you guys probably recognize it. And they're all mixed up, so I'm not exactly sure which one's which, but a lot of it is scraps. So I've had a blast doing this scrapbook. I just think it's a neat, easy way to do a journal. Like if you have never done a junk journal or whatever, and you're intimidated by like sewing in signatures or something like that, then this is definitely a fun, easy way to make one and not have to worry about that. You just get to do the fun part, which is the part I love, is decorating the journals. I don't love all the technical part either, really. And I really don't think the price of these is bad on Arteza, because you get 2 of them. And they're really good quality, so like I don't feel like the pages are going to rip out easy or anything like that. Bless you! They seem to be in there pretty good. Nice thick paper. But, you know, use whatever you've got. If you've got some other kind of journal or, you know, book, you could definitely do this with like old cookbooks or, I mean, loads of things. So, alright, so I'm going to put this piece kind of a little askew, just barely though, because I kind of want to put this bag back here. I'm kind of thinking of this along the lines of like when we do an altered manila file folder kind of thing. That's sort of what I'm thinking when I'm doing this. So I'm wondering if I should put something else along the edge. I know you won't see it much, but you will see it a little bit. This is Graphic 45. That's a scrap with the little bees. Kind of almost want, so I don't want it totally straight. They're all like chopped off over here. I just want a piece, basically. Just gonna tear it. I think I'll go ahead and stick that bag down. I don't know exactly how much I want. I just want it to go along here so that but I don't want to cover up the top of that bag. So I need to tear it about here. I'm just trying to hide the bag, really. Okay. I mean, you'll see a little bit of the bag at the top, but yeah, I don't have much of that left. That's graphic 45. I can't remember which one that was, the Nature Sketchbook or something like that. Love that paper. I don't know if you can even get it anymore. And this is just a coffee dyed glassine bag, and I get them off of Amazon. Try to remember to put them in my Amazon link at the bottom of my description box. Unless I forget, like a dingling. Because I do that quite often. I'm going to kind of get this right up at the top, basically. Get that glued down so it's not catching the tag or whatever we put in here. Journaling card. Then I'm going to tie pieces of fabric to the rings that over here. If you guys can see, yeah. It's kind of along the lines of doing like a tassel, you know, along your spine. Okay, we don't want any like gapping because I don't want it to catch and get torn or whatever. Okay, so now this can go along there and it is torn. And I'm going to put this on top of it. So this is just kind of the background behind the openings there. All right, let me put this up here and we'll continue to cut out the little window there. Get rid of some of my junk. Alright, so all I've done is take a ruler. There's my good ruler. And I just hold it up to where the lighter part is. And again, this comes out of my cabinet cards Digi. And then I just take it and I cut. So I've already done these all the way. So let's see, there's a little spot where it's catching. So you can see I cut along there, I cut along the bottom and along here using my ruler so that I don't get it all jaggedy and not right. The trick is that this is an arch right here, so then I just use my scissors to cut that out. But if you cut out the rest of it first and you have a pretty decent sharp pair of scissors, you can just cut the little arch out. If you're good with the X-Acto blade, then you know, go ahead and use that. It's just I always make it crooked, so that's why I use the scissors. But then you just have that little piece. So So you can save those and use them for something else, or toss them, or whatever. So that's the way I do that. Because I've done something like this before, making a journaling card. And my wonderful friend Lori suggested that I show you guys how I did it on camera. So yeah, I just use my ruler, hold it up along that line, and you know, cut it that way so you get a nice straight line, or as straight as possible anyway. Of course, it doesn't have to be totally perfect, because nothing is, right? So this is just kind of a fun idea to do. And Dee Dee Farago, who's on my design team, she just did a fairy journal. It was awesome. And she used this on the front cover, this little piece right here. And came out great. Looked so good. Totally different than like what I'm using it for as far as papers and everything. And it just looks cool with whatever you put it with. So that's just kind of my background for the pictures. And I just want to kind of mess this corner up a little bit, because these are sticking out above, you know, the top of that. So I just want it, just adds a little something. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack this around the edges, but I'm going to leave the rest of it open so that I can tuck images in behind and wherever. So I just want to make sure this stays attached. Getting along the edges real good. Okay. I can probably go across the middle too. That way none of my pictures will slip down through. And I'm just going to kind of leave a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom, and I'm not worried about the sides because they're kind of covering it up anyway. Oops. So it's just really my background piece, the blue. Alright, and then I have some Tim Holtz people. I kind of thought about where I might want to put them. I might put a little bit of glue in the middle here because these want a gap, and I don't want that. I just want to be able to, you know, tuck stuff into the edge. I don't need it open all the way across. So I think I'm going to put her like right here. I like the way you kind of tuck her dress back in there a little bit, so she looks more like she's sitting on the windowsill. And these are Tim Holtz paper dolls. I've done this before and like found my own images kind of like Tim Holtz paper dolls. But these are the real deal. I just want to lift that a little bit so I can get her skirt in there. No glue all over her face. That's not a great look. Oops. There's that one, and I thought these might be cute standing outside of the, since they won't, you know, really fit inside. It's almost like using the cabinet card picture frame for more of windows than, you know, frames. There's a little piece right here that is white. Or it's kind of like ancestors come to life, right? Like they're walking out of the frame. And I'm kind of placing them so they sort of look like they're standing on this line right here. Okay. And these two little gals, this one's already been inked. I must have been going to use it for something else. So that makes it easy. This one's going to be a little trickier to place, but we'll see how we do here. I'm going to put her behind. And this one's sitting on, come on, doesn't want to go because I glued that. Okay. And then this gentleman we're going to put right here. If I can pick him up. But you can do this like I said, Dee Dee did it with fairies. You can have the fairies, you know, peeking out the windows or whatever. It's just kind of a fun little way to use these old cabinet card frames. Because otherwise it's a little tricky. What do you do with them, right? Kind of scoot him over just a touch. Okay, there we have that. And I'm going to put it about here somewhere. And then that way you can still use that pocket back there to tuck things in and out. So we need to get that glued down the right way. So because I have this opening and it's a little bit lower, I'm going to not glue all the way up. Helps if you take the cap off. I'm not going to glue all the way at the tippity top there. And once I get it down where I want it, I can add a little bit of the art glitter glue right in spots to make sure it's secured. I just don't want to glue the bag shut after all that. I have to make sure I still didn't go too far. I'm kind of going to get it askew here. Hopefully I didn't get the glue too high up. this way. I think I got it. Let's hope. Layer upon layer it goes, right? And I'll get that top, like I said, to make sure it's gonna stay down. I just want to make sure we didn't get this. Nope, good job. Okay. Tell myself good job. Good job, self. Put a little bit of glue. My shaking hands, aren't they great? A little bit on each side just to make sure it's going to stay down. Sorry if I got my head in there. And there's a little gap right here, so I'm just going to come in with my art glitter glue. And it might just partially be because of the layers, you know, but I just want to make sure if we can get all that stuck down, we do. Okay. And then I'll make a tag that'll go in there. It probably won't be a super wide one, even though that's a fairly wide bag. It's going to be tight in there because that's on there so tight. I thought this lady would look kind of cool here, and that's Tim Holtz. That's off of, I don't know which paper bag it is. I'm sure a lot of you know right off the top of your head, but I just don't. Horrible about remembering names of stuff like that. I cut these birds out, but I think they're way too huge. You won't see any flowers or anything if I put those on there. Yeah. So I'll probably skip that. This is an image I've been hoarding from that paper. I love this. I love those old sewing patterns and all that. I'll put her about there. And a lot of this you're probably thinking, you know, doesn't really make sense, which it probably doesn't. But that's kind of this journal. I just wanted it to be really eclectic and just all kinds of different things, and it doesn't really have to make sense, and it doesn't have to match, and it, you know, that whole thing. That's kind of the look I was going for. So hopefully that's translating. I kind of feel like it needs a little something along the side of her here, and I think it should be fabric. Now I could use a bit of this. Let me see. I just kind of feel like I probably should have figured this out before I put glue all over this. It's just trim that I have, like crochet trim. I don't think I quite need that much. I'm just holding it to the size of this image because I know you can't see me at the moment. It's going to cover up part of my pink flowers, but thought the cap was on again. Just going to put some dots of glue along here. Then we'll put this on. I'm using my marbles. Has some fizz. And I may come back and do a little gold paint here and there. I probably should have done that first, but I kind of forgot. So, and then I have these tiles. Those would be the good things to put a little gold around. So that's the Arteza Gouache again, and this is the gold, obviously. And I'm going to add a little water from one of my water pens, just to have a little on there. And it'll reactivate, so even this stuff that's dry will kind of work again. The only problem is now I'm going to have some place to set these to dry for a minute. Let's get this out of the way before I ruin it. Okay, and put the glue lid on. I guess it doesn't matter what order I paint them in, right? And I'm just going to go along the edge because it's kind of fat. And then, so yes, this is not the traditional way of doing this, but this is how I do things. It's just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and do whatever works. Okay. And it is kind of a mess, but they dry. That gold paint dries really cool, so. And I'll have it everywhere. I have to pause and go wash my hands. And I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. You're probably yelling at me. Okay. More water. This way along the edge, you know, when you can see it setting on the cover of the journal, you know, the edge will have a little gold on it too. Just a different way to use your paints. And you know, you can totally do this with acrylic too. It doesn't have to be this kind of paint. It was just very kind of Arteza to send me such nice supplies to be able to use, so I really appreciate it. Sorry, I know that this is kind of a hard thing to video. You can fast forward if it's irritating to you. I understand. But I do have some new people, and to them it might, you know, be helpful. And I could use the paintbrush, but it's a little bit wet. for this. Trying to come up with a new digi, tea digi. So that'll probably be the next one that comes out. Alright, so I'm going to go wash and get those dry, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So we are going to glue those down. I added a little gold like on her bracelet, some in the middle of the flowers, just around the edges of things, on the numbers a little bit, just a little gold. Very little, just so you get a little shimmer. I'm going to use Gorilla Glue to put these on. You could use that, I can't remember what it's called, like M3000 or I don't know, whatever it is. But just something strong because, you know, they're letters, so I want to kind of lay it out to get an idea before I glue them down, and then yeah, see, like it would have been in the wrong spot, so we can scoot them a little, put them a little closer together like that, something like that. Okay, just so we know that they're going to stick down really well. And I'm going to do them a little haphazardly. Oops. What's the matter?
Do you have a double-sided sticky thing?
What for?
The microphone for answering phone calls in my car.
Yeah, I'll get it just a minute. Okay, can I do this? Okay. I'll put it on her head. So this is a little bit of, obviously of a mixed media type journal. Alright, and then I don't know if I want to use this or not, but I have this key. I got this key from Allie, the Cockney Crafter. I'm just not sure that it will stay because it's a real old metal key, and I'm afraid it might be too heavy. But I might be able to put it like on the parts that I tie on or something. Alright, so we're just going to cap that. I'll deal with it later. And throw these out. Or one of these out. And then we will start tying our fabric on to the edge here. I'm trying to figure out, maybe if I turn it this way, where I can work on it, but you can see it, that will work. So I just have torn pieces of mostly Tim Holtz fabric. There's a few other things in here, but it's mostly Tim Holtz. And I'm just going to tie it around these rings. I think I'll go inside the middle of the ring. Hopefully you can kind of see that. Maybe I will do that. So each ring, maybe it will get a piece of fabric. I don't know. This is just an idea. It doesn't mean it's going to work. And I may trim them, but for now I'm just going to leave it because I don't know exactly how long I want them. See, this isn't Tim Holtz. It's just some blue fabric I have, but I wanted some with a little more color than what I had in Tim Holtz fabric. Maybe. And I want it, obviously, with the colorful side out, if possible. So yeah, I just ripped them in strips, and let me measure here in a minute and I'll tell you how long these particular ones are. Doesn't mean they're going to stay exactly that long, but get an idea of the size anyway. They are about 8.5 inches long, and then, you know, like these ones I just ripped the width of the ruler that was printed on the fabric, but they're probably about 1/2 inch, most of them, roughly. Because it's all however they tear, which sometimes isn't great. And then you know, you can hang some beads or whatever off of the little spots. Whatever you like. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, and then I've got like this blue, that's also Tim Holtz. It's just kind of a, almost like a denim in a way. Trickiest part is just getting it around these. And this particular one of his fabrics did not tear very well, so it's kind of skinny and fat, but I guess that'll just add more character. I don't know why. The rest of them all tore pretty, you know, fairly straight. Of course, that could be user error, but strings galore here. Yeah, I really think if you're gonna do this, that each one of the little, you know, ones will need it in order to give you that kind of full look. So I'm gonna continue tying these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So I have tied on all of the pieces of fabric, and I don't know if I'm gonna cut them. I think I might leave them. I kind of like them. So I don't know. I'll have to decide on that. But you can hang some little charms off of those. And then I felt like it still needs something around here. So I'm just trying to figure out what. And that's a Tracy Fox. They're either tea cards or cigarette cards, I'm not sure. Let's see, I'm looking through Artie Mae's, because she's got all those tickets and things that are super cool, so I like the 35 cents. That's kind of cool. Something like some blue would be kind of good over here, just to bring it together, sort of, if that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of just a crazy assortment of things. I don't know how you really bring it together. These are my stamps. My giant mess of stuff. They're usually right there, but they're not there. Got these, but there's already a lot of numbers there, so I don't want that. Oh, I don't know what I did with those. They're usually in my box right here, so sorry, that's why I'm confused. but I obviously moved them doing one of the collages or something. Alright, well, I shouldn't worry about it. I think I'll go with those and then I'll look for a stamp to put on there. And again, these two pieces are from Artie Mays. Got these food stamps, they would work. And I'm going to kind of scooch in that edge a little. Just kind of pushing on the paper a little to make it so it's not just flat, you know. Cooperating with me. Not maybe quite that much of a wrinkle. There we go. And I will continue to look for, sorry, my son's brushing his teeth. Like I said, I'm right upstairs in the fray of their area, so just gonna peel a couple of these off. And I got these from Emmephemera's Treasures on Etsy. And of course Jules has to scream because that's what she does. Just go right there. It's already a little aged, so I'm not gonna worry about the inking. Come on. And you don't have to wrinkle them if you don't like to. I just like them that way. It's not so flat that way. Okay. Alright. So that is the cover so far. So I think that I doubt I'll add really anything else since I found that little stamp, but I'll bring it up so you can see it a little bit better. Just pen, our fringe, our journal, our little windows, or whatever you might want to call it. So that's what I have for that. And then of course our torn fabric ties on the little ring binding. And since they're just tied and they're not super thick, they're not affecting the, you know, closing and opening of the pages or anything. So yeah, I hope you guys liked that. I hope you have an awesome day. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll chat again soon. Bye-bye.